Hello, this is Sudharshan, and in this episode, chapter 31, we'll talk about rickettsial infections. So, this is caused by a group of organisms called Rickettsia. So, there are basically these important species. We have Rickettsia rickettsii, Rickettsia provozekii, Rickettsia typhi. So, these are the three important ones. Apart from that, there is Conorai, Africae, Acari, and Orientia species, that is Orientia susugamushi. Okay, so main our focus will be on Rickettsia only. And out of all this Rickettsia rickettsii causes a very serious infection. Okay, so let us see the antigenic structure. So we have this peptidoglycan, lipopolysaccharide and OMPs, that is outer membrane proteins, very similar to that of Proteus, based at only our Will-Felix reaction. So we'll be discussing that in the end. And then coming to pathogenesis. So the mode of transmission is mainly a zoonotic infection from animals. So very commonly from the ticks and mites, it is going to spread. And when the Rickettsia species enters the body, it will adhere to two proteins, OMPs or outer membrane proteins. OMP A and B is there. And also it uses another surface protein called TLYC, right? And after attaching to the outer membrane proteins, it will be in the phagocytosis stage. So the phagocyte comes and engulf this bacilli here, and then it forms obviously an endosome, but it tries to survive the macrophage because of some resistance genes, that is intracellular survival. It can survive inside the cell. So then as I said, it is generating the resistance factors, and because of that it is multiplying in the macrophage. The macrophage undergoes apoptosis, then burst out, and all the bacilli will reach the bloodstream, and then they will affect different parts like the CNS, heart, kidney, liver, etc., lungs. And also it can undergo cell to cell spread, just like Shigella, where there is a actin based motility or actin rocket is there. Okay, so clinical features. So mainly there is a rash which will be all over the body. Then a flu-like illness, that is fever, malaise, fatigue, myalgia, arthralgias, etc. And as I said, complications to the CNS, to the heart, the lungs, etc. Right. And then we have Rickettsia provozekii, that causes a very important condition called Brill-Zinsser disease, where the microbe remains for years. Alright. And then apart from that, we also have the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which will have the similar clinical features only. Right, and when it comes to the diagnosis, the most important one, Will-Felix test. Just like for Salmonella we have Widal test, like that for Rickettsia we have the Will-Felix reaction. So mainly we have the antibodies detected against the Proteus species. There are three are there, OX19, OX2 and OXK antigens. All these are elevated in epidemic, endemic typhus, tick-borne fever, scrub typhus, etc. Then apart from that, we have a very important false positive and false negative titer also. So false positive is going to indicate a severe increase in infection, whereas a false negative is a prozone phenomenon, that is antibodies are more. So that is false positive and false negative. Then antigen antibody tests like ELISA PCR, MALDI-TOF Vitek. Then apart from that, Yes. Yes, and apart from that, the isolation in the cell lines, biopsy samples can be taken. So treatment, the drug of choice, doxycycline, which is a tetracycline. Chloramphenicol also used, but now very commonly we are using chloramphenicol because the microbes nowadays are developing resistance to the other drugs. That is why. Alright, and very similar to Rickettsia species, we have ehrlichiosis caused by Ehrlichia, which will also show very similar features as discussed for Rickettsia, that is the clinical features, the diagnosis and treatment. And another is Q fever, that is Coxiella burnetii, that causes it. And then a brief on Bartonella. So Bartonellosis caused by Bartonella henselae, very importantly causes cat scratch disease. So as the name suggests, it is from the scratch of the cats only. It may lead to regional lymphadenopathy, papules, rash. Then we can have inflammation of different organs. And a very important thing, that is bacillary angiomatosis, where we see a blood vessel tumor as a result of this bacilli. And it has a very small association with Kaposi sarcoma also, but difference is that this is a little benign disease compared to the Kaposi sarcoma. Right, so that was brief about Rickettsia. So thank you so much. We'll see in the next lesson.